So one of the most frequent questions I get on YouTube, Instagram, anywhere to be honest, is what can I do to such and such bike to make it look like a cafe racer on the cheap option. Now in the past I've put up a video on how much I've spent on my cafe racer. That was a Suzuki, and that was even back then, and that's before all the whole bother with the intake boots and everything. So of course my expense has really flown up since that last video. But anyway, it kind of got me to think, what are the top 5 alterations you can do to your stock bike to make it look more cafe? Now of course how much you want to spend again is entirely up to you. So I came up with these top 5 alterations to radically alter the look of your bike. Now this is all assuming that the donor bike, or the bike that you have, currently runs sweet. So there's absolutely no mechanical work needed, no electrical work. So providing that your bike is running fine, these are the top 5 things that you can do on a shoestring. So the first thing I'd say for any bike is the seat. Most bikes come with 2 massive seats. Take my Honda CX for example. That had a huge seat on the back. You could honestly, well, you can fit 2 people. That was the whole point of the seat. But it honestly takes away from the look of the cafe bike. So the first thing I would suggest is to change the seat. You don't have to spend a lot on this. Prices range from £40 to £100. So what's that? $60 to $120, something like that. This will straight away change the look of your bike. One thing you may have to do here is shorten the rear end of the frame, but again, you don't have to bust a ball or break the bank to do that. Most bikes, a simple rear hoop change is all you need. So when you're doing this, you're naturally changing the look of the bike from a 2-seater to a single-seater, which is essentially what a cafe is. It's only meant for one person. Now there are different options you can do here. You can go for the all-in-one leather seat with the leather going over the cowl like I've done with the CX, or you can go with the leather seat itself and then the plastic cowl on the back. Whichever option you go for, like I said, this alone will change the look of your bike and give your bike that sportier look that you're after. Number 2, obvious change, is the colour. All bikes come in stock colours. You can always tell a stock bike when you see it. Changing the colour will naturally, again, change the entire look of the bike. There are these forums, there are these videos, there are all sorts going on. What colours are specific cafe racer colours? Don't bother with any of those. Go with what you want to. Your bike is supposed to be an extension of your personality, and whatever colours you feel that you want to use in your bike, just go ahead and use them. Don't let anyone tell you that they're the wrong colours and they don't look good and whatnot, and even shapes and patterns. Go with whatever you want to. Yeah, of course they're not going to please everyone. I've seen some examples of bikes which I kind of think, well, I wouldn't have done it this way, but that's just me. That person loves what they've created and that's for them to own them. Now you don't have to go the whole expensive route, you don't have to get your own compressor tank, your spray gun, everything like that. A simple rattle can will do. The only thing I can say here is if you are going to use a rattle can, then be aware of any fuel spillages or anything that you're going to get on your tank. You may get a few blemishes and a few sort of tarnished areas on your tank if you do accidentally spill some fuel on it, but simply enough, $40 on a rattle can respray. If it pleases you, then that's all you want to do. And of course when you're riding the road, people aren't really going to look up close and see what your spray job is like and all sorts, only if you're showing it. If you're doing it purely for yourself, heck, go ahead with it. So the third change you can do on a shoestring or on a budget, simple enough, clip-on bars. The natural stance of a cafe racer rider is that whole leaning forward, your arms are actually down low, and it's more of a sports bike position than sort of a touring bike. So simply enough, changing your standard handlebars, your upright handlebars, to simple clip-on ones, which essentially clip onto your forks, that's all they do. You can use the same controls, you can use the same grips, providing that the tube of your clip-on bars are the same as the current bars you have there. This will simply and straight away change that visual weight of the front of your bike from being on the top to being on the same line as the tank. Again, you don't have to break the bank for this. You can find a good set of clip-on bars for about $50, a bit more, a bit less, but roughly that's the mark you're going to be spending on a pair of those. Number 4 on my list is probably a bit more tricky than the rest, and that's your muffler, your silencer as we say in the UK, or European I think, or muffler in the US. The function of this is to basically silence the sound of your engine. Depending on what you buy, it's either going to silence your bike a lot or not as much, like with these shorties that I buy. The issue I've got with stock silencers is, again, they're massive, they're huge. Having this massive horn on the back kind of takes the attention away from the rest of the bike and your eyes kind of go straight onto that. Now of course this isn't a simple fix as such. You can get silencers and mufflers that clip on straight away with absolutely no work whatsoever. Chances are you may have to do a bit of cutting and a bit of welding. So if that's within your skill set, then that's one of the things you can do. Now, I'm going to throw this in as an alternative to number 4. If changing the muffler is too great a job for you, and if you decide it's well out of your skill set and out of your price range, it's by no means within my skill set. I can't weld exhaust. There's a special skill in it, there's a special knack in it. So as an alternative to number 4 is your dials. Now there are so many dials out there on the market, but make sure that you get the ones that are suitable for your bike. Whether your dials are a mechanical dial or whether they're digital, make sure you get the right ones. But changing those will, again, change the look of your front end, so you don't have these massive bulky dials and clocks up front. But again, a simple fix and an alternative to changing the muffler if you don't really want to do that. So number 5 on my list, the last one, and that's the headlight. Most bikes that builders buy, most donor bikes, tend to be 70s, 80s bikes. These have all got massive lights at the front, or massive fairings, all built into one system. The CX, for example, that's got a massive front end with the light, your indicators, everything all into one. Simply changing that light to a nice 7-inch round light, again, will give you that cafe look. And it's not only the old bikes as well, these newer bikes that people are working on now. And it's great to see how the whole cafe scene is evolving to using new bikes rather than these old ones, because let's be honest, old bikes are getting rare now. People are snatching up these newer bikes with their shaped headlights and everything. If you change that, again, that's going to give you the look that you're after. So you can buy a headlight for $30, $40, I mean you can go up to $100 if you want, or even more, depending on the style you want, whether you want a xenon or a halo light, or a light with built-in turn signals if your country allows you to do that. But that is the last thing that I would do. So we've worked from the bike, from the very end to the front. Hopefully these 5 little bits will be something that's easy for everyone to do, even if you're a beginner. And that's another thing as well. People asking me, I'm a beginner, this is going to be my first bike, can I do it? Go for it. The best way to learn is to actually get a bike yourself, strip it down, see what each bit does, and put it back together. If you can do that, then you can work your way and go on to work on more complex parts of the bike. So start off small and teach yourself as you go on. So this coming week, I'm hoping to get the CX powder coated. The frame is behind me now. There, all the checks have been done, so I'm going to take it away and see what I can do to it. If you want to keep up to date with the GS and the CX, then subscribe or follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next week.